hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Eyo!
Hey! Hello everyone and welcome to our 5th Saturday, episode 5. Woo!
That was a lot of energy.
I'm in a lot of pain.
We're compensating.
I pinched my sciatic nerve, so I'm just a bundle of fun this weekend. Holiday weekend, lots to do. Doing great. Anyway, so yeah, so we're back. We have a special guest today, my friend Barb. So Barb is in for the weekend. We are going bridesmaids dress shopping this afternoon. And our friend, our lovely bride friend, is going to be here in an hour. So we're going to try to get a little bit of writing done. And Barb might just do her own writing as well. But yeah, so as far as our update then, during the week on Thursday, I finished chapter 8, I think it was. That's where we're at, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so I finished chapter 8. So is there any comments, questions? Did you read it?
I did read it, and I really like our dialogue and our chemistry that we have so far. So, without giving too much away, I guess.
Yes.
But
I think what I like about this relationship is I don't think it will be like a real, like it's not going to be a romantic relationship yet.
No, and I don't think it's even going to be like your one and only kind of thing. I don't think that we're building this up as, I hate the term, but end game.
Yeah.
I think it's just they have really good sexual chemistry.
Yes.
So,
and the nice thing is too that like I think it'll be teasing enough that if we end up getting like if we go through with this and we get picked up by an agent and we get a sequel, we can play around with their relationship more in the sequel, but it's just a tease right now. So this will be one of those things where it's like, okay, if we get an agent and we get published, guys, make sure you buy it, because then if you want to see a relationship, you might get that in a sequel.
Yeah. Especially if you unexpectedly have like a thing about praise. I've learned things about myself.
The Virgo.
That's a good girl. Okay.
Yes. I like those positive affirmations.
Yes. Our chapter 8, we finished where she was brokering the deal, and now we left Act 1. We are in Act 2 where all of the fun, chaotic shit is going to happen. And I do feel like this is going to be a lot easier because we have half of it. Act 2 is essentially written. It's all pulling back all the stuff. So we have all the heist, all the prep for the heist. Like, I am so excited for this. So really, I think what's going to happen is chapter 9 is going to be a completely new chapter building up to her going. And then chapter 10 is probably going to be a lot of our pulling from the West, because I think all we need to do is kind of have her, she's going to have internal thoughts on this of like what she's doing. And we're going to have her reviewing what they talked about at the meeting as far as like what steps she needs to take, because then chapter 10 will be her actually starting to take those steps. So that's where we're at. I'm really excited. We have, let me see.
Yeah, so we essentially have reached our call to action.
Yes, we reached a call to action. We are at over 20,000 words. And we definitely have, we'll be adding a decent amount when we pull over. So I'm excited. I mean, this could potentially be underdrafted because it is just a fast draft.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to flesh out a lot more, because I think we told a lot more than showing in a lot of the chapters, just to get stuff moving and so that we didn't linger in one place.
Because we will fixate. We are those writers that
I think we've learned over the course of writing for over 10 years together at this point that we have to move on. And I think that's actually where we excel, is going back and adding flesh to bones. So I think this is actually a good thing, because if we had fixated, then we run into the problem of this is 20 pages about a mountain, but everything's important.
Yeah. Where we become George.
I'm going to talk about the door. It was a round door, and there was a scratch upon the door.
Well, I was trying to combine Tolkien's name and George R.R. Martin's name, and it did not work.
We're not writing on Windows 98 right now, so we're fine.
I really did. Has he updated yet?
I don't know. Last time I heard that, like I said, I had a friend that her cousin or something worked in his publishing house, and he still wrote on Windows 98 because he's very superstitious, and gave them floppy disks that they had to convert.
I would hate him.
I think he's slightly a diva.
Yeah.
From the stories that you hear, I think he is slightly a diva,
but he makes money. So.
But he makes money. He knows what he's doing. I mean, that's there's a certain sort of power in that.
We're on chapter 94. So anyway, okay, tangent over. We are going to get to writing. I think we can have an easy goal of writing this chapter, because then we're starting to start pulling stuff. So if we could do
yeah,
that,
if
we
can
could
get this chapter
easily
done,
start
yeah, exactly.
pulling everything from the, because honestly that's all we really need to do next is just pull everything over in order.
Yep.
And get our chapters and then
rework
edit.
what we need to and so essentially
So okay.
Yeah.
Well, here we go, friends.
All right, so we ended with her extending her arm, Dimitri actually grabbing her arm back, seeing how much money she had in her account.
Yep.
All right, so do we want to continue that conversation, or do we want to just jump right to Dimitri being home and kind of like missing it? Okay.
I was gonna say I think we should go right to her being home.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think she's just gonna walk away. She's not gonna do much. She's
Yeah. She's gonna go home. So I feel like this chapter, which I had a little bit of a note here, about like warring on whether she believes and kind of like I feel like just playing up her internal thoughts a lot about like her what we said here, like the issue of trusting her government to some degree but not sure like where that degree lands anymore.
What kind of flooring would she have? Is it like old wood? Probably old wood, right?
I think either old wood or like honestly concrete. Like
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's concrete, honestly.
Just because like they're in the poor section, like they're not gonna put a lot of effort into it, and honestly, concrete's easier to wash if people die.
Yeah,
not wrong.
I mean, honestly,
I mean, and it's easier to pour.
Yes,
like, that's
well,
probably
the
the cheapest thing to build.
Because you think about it, like you're gonna put all your resources into the more like richer people up
the
here.
higher group.
Yeah, and then the people who are like pretty used to dying, and you just have a cleanup crew, like.
Yeah, because
just spray down with
nothing's, yeah.
What?
Alright, so I'm trying to think of what she's going to focus on the most. I think, like, her first aspect is going to be, is she crazy and is this thing even real?
Yeah. Like, is she crazy? Is this real? And, like, I just feel like there's so many implications of, like, their, like, oh, like, her safety is compromised at this point. So it's like, I feel like she would start thinking that, like, what is my next steps? And like, you know, I agreed to this. Like, I will certainly die if I don't follow through. But like, what would happen if I follow through and they don't hold up their end? And also just like with the, like, that she, like, the reason that she's been scared of her government is because of her ability. Because of, you know, already being trapped and like not wanting to be trapped again. However, I think as like a citizen, she feels like the government is doing what they need to do. So even though it might not always seem fair, like, okay, but they are providing us food, like they are providing us shelter, even if sometimes they forget us on the dockside. Like they're not wholly bad, but in this case with like the people who are afflicted, like, are they actually wronging us? We should end this chapter with her saying like, oh, because she's about to leave and go do it, because this might even be like a couple days later.
Yeah.
But I think like she should end it being like, okay, like so she has to follow up on her first lead and, you know, find a girl named Krista. Like so that should be, so then that way when she goes down into the, like, we could still have her have like her contact and like get the information and where she's gonna be, and then that goes right into all that.
Right. Dash for redhead, or is it one word? It's one word, right?
One word,
redhead. When it's red-headed, it's two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
I feel like, I wonder, this is more like the nuance, but like the fox in the trap, I don't know how, because they don't really hunt. They have everything in.
That's true.
So.
So I'm trying to
super nitpicky, but I was just like, maybe, probably, I like the analogy, but. Two cats, maybe? Because I mean, that would be the easiest. Yep. We already know they have 2 cars. A rat and a truck.
And we use the rat thing a lot with Akila too. So. Yeah. So do we want to say this is 2 days later?
I'd say 2 or 3 even.
Working on phone is a bitch.
I have my laptop. Do you have my laptop?
I'd have to sign into Google Docs. That's fine.
I had a friend that wrote an entire novel on his phone.
I don't mind it. It's just like
people do it.
Billy Lapatowski wrote a whole novel on his phone. It was actually really good. It was like a zombie thing, and it took place around here. And like you'd be reading it, and you're like, "This is Finch Hill Corners." Oh my god! Because he described it that well. Where you were like, if you were from here, you were like, they're walking down Finch Hill Corners.
Oh my god, that's
and like, you know, like how like the sky was red because like it was all this like bomb fallout and stuff like that. And like it was so cool as someone from around here because you were imagining all of that like post-apocalyptic. Like,
yeah.
it was
And honestly,
really
too,
cool.
like, I mean, you get so many small towns, but, like, honestly, that's what I love about, like, Kai and Colin's story, because it's, like...
Because if you're from around here, you should recognize some of it.
And honestly, like, as much as people shit on it,
I love it.
There's so many beautiful places around here that, like, you can't get in, like, a city because it's a small town, like country vibe.
Like, I like being able to find a waterfall if I want to, or, like, run through the trees and shit like that. Like, that's not everywhere. Like, I'm aware that that's not everywhere.
Oh my god, yeah, no.
So.
No, it sucks. It is now a few days later, and I am wrapping up this week's segment because things got a little chaotic at the end of my video for episode 5. So, as I already mentioned in the beginning of this episode, our friend had drove up from Delaware to do bridesmaids duties with us because we were all in a wedding together. So she drove up on Friday night and stayed with me, and that was my friend Barb, who was in this week's podcast, just kind of sitting there, not much commentary, but just joined us for the banter. And then shortly after we started filming, the bride showed up, and she showed up a little bit earlier than we expected, so we just really didn't get too much done in the book. I think we wrote maybe like 3, maybe 4 if we're pushing it. I think it was barely 3 pages that we wrote. So all in all, I don't regret it because we did have a really fun time together. I really liked doing all the bridesmaid stuff, and it's been a while since, like, there was 5 of us total and we're all really good friends. So it's been a very long time since all 5 of us were together and hanging out. So it was just a really nice day. But as far as writing productivity goes, wasn't a good day for that whatsoever because we were all so preoccupied and just enjoying being in each other's company. Well, otherwise, the rest of the weekend did not really pan out. We had other stuff that we were doing together, and then it was a holiday weekend, so I had other obligations with family. So yeah, I think I might have added like 2 or 3 sentences, and I did start transferring stuff over from the old book chapters so that we can reuse and edit those. So we get some stuff done, but we still really need to push through this chapter. And I think part of the issue that we're having is that the chapter is all internal thoughts and prepping, and kind of the main character is hyping herself up to do the heist that she was asked to do. So it's kind of like getting in that mindset of like really worrying about like how she feels about all of this and how this would be betraying a government that she does hate, but also knowing that this is going to cause such a ripple effect if she goes through with this, and not sure if she can handle the fallout that she'll cause other people. So I really liked getting into the headspace, but we need to be in a good headspace to do it, and I know Saturday was not it. So we are going to probably do that this week. I am actually going away for the coming up weekend, so we're not going to be getting together to film episode 6 yet, but I am going to try to do some writing when I'm on my little trip because we will have some downtime, and I think I'll be able to, at least if one of us doesn't finish that chapter, I'll be able to finish it this weekend, and I'll actually start being able to edit through all the stuff that I was pulling from the old one. So that's pretty much it. That is where I'm at with everything. Let me know down below how you guys are liking this series, and tell me what was something fun that happened over your Memorial Day weekend. And until next time, I'll see you then.